It is issue 20. I have done 20 of these things, everybody. 20. Issue 20 of the Grim Gazette. And I am your host, T. Morris. I represent Old Spirits Investigations. We are a young and scrappy and, gosh darn it, we are just one of the most cuddly paranormal groups that you will encounter out there. It is myself and Phil Rossi. It is also our families and its friends that we take out onto paranormal investigations. And the Grim Gazette is your weekly dose of weird. We have weird news on here. We have paranormal deep dives into topics concerning the paranormal and people involved in the paranormal. And of course, we also do the occasional debunks, or some people will send me clips and they will try to challenge me to see if it was fake or if it was real. And yes, of course, you can't see him, but he's here. We also have cats.
He's got cats on stream? God, what can't T Monster do? I'm not even being facetious. It's like a really good stream.
I do my best. Anyway, so yeah, we are going to be jumping deep into the weird, and I found today the perfect story to kick it off. For anyone that's new to the Grim Gazette, this should give you an idea of some of the stuff that we talk about here Tuesday nights at this time. Here's our lead story. Will Smith reveals scary reason for early checkout from a London hotel.
Who's this nut-tugger?
Yes, the actor said he had an encounter with an apparition at a hotel, which led to his sudden exit. Here we go. Will Smith recently claimed he once had a spooky encounter with a ghost at a London hotel. In an appearance on The Tonight Show Tuesday, and this was Tuesday, right? The actor described what led up to an emergency checkout while playing a game of True Confessions with his Bad Boys Ride or Die co-star Martin Lawrence and host Jimmy Fallon. This was probably 27 years ago, Smith recalled. The ghost urinated in my friend's toilet and cleared all of his messages from his phone.
Hard no.
You know, at least he was polite about it, you know? At least he's polite about it. Smith then revealed that his encounter with the apparition occurred at the Lanesborough, a five-star hotel near London's Hyde Park that had welcomed guests like Cher, Mariah Carey, Sly Stallone, and former President George H.W. Bush. We didn't hear it talk, so we assumed it was British, but it was scary enough for us to check out of the hotel, Smith said. Do you believe in ghosts? Fallon asked. And this is why I really dig, slap happy Will Smith. Because he says, quote, I believe there are things that you don't understand, Jimmy. And then, of course, Bad Boys Ride or Die earned $21.6 million on its opening day on Friday. Fourth film in the Bad Boys franchise. It's projected to gross to $75 million at a global box office over the weekend. So there you go. There you go. Pretty freaking cool. I had no idea that Will Smith had actually seen, when did this happen? So it happened, he said, 27 years ago. And I'm trying to remember 27 years ago, he was probably promoting Independence Day. That's a possibility. But yeah. That's a great story though. And I do. I respect what he has to say when he said, I believe there are things that you don't understand, Jimmy. And you know what? That is a great way to describe it. That is a great way to describe it. I can't prove to you, everybody. I'm just going to come out and be honest. I cannot prove to you in the 3 years that I've been doing this that ghosts exist. Can I tell you that some really weird stuff has happened to me? Yes. And so I was not alive. Well, there you go. No brainer. You see, it's called history in your mind. Okay, so how do you follow up that story? Well, I'm glad you asked. Joey Chestnut, 16-time hot dog eating champion, banned from an event for signing deal with a vegan company. Holding the world record for the most hot dogs eaten in 10 minutes, Joey Chestnut has won the Nathan's Famous 4th of July contest 16 times. But He will have to miss out on this year's event over a row about him signing a brand deal with Impossible Foods. And there it is. That's both the thrill and the agony of victory and possibly defeat afterwards. A 16-time hot dog eating champion said he has been banned from a New York contest after signing a deal with a vegan food company. Joey Jaws Chestnut, 40. Yeah, he looks 40. Is the reigning champion of the Nathan's Famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest, having won all but one of the competitions every year since 2007. In the 2021 contest, he ate 76 hot dogs and buns in just 10 minutes, one of 55 competitive eating world records he holds. Last year, he fell short of his own record, but still put away an impressive 63 sausages. He blamed his performance on stormy weather. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this in a minute, this image right here. But after signing an endorsement deal with Impossible Foods, a plant-based meat company, Chestnut will miss out on the annual New York event. It's because Nathan's Famous prohibits eaters from endorsing competitor hot dog brands. The contest's governing body, Major League Eating, MLE, said. It added in a statement, "We are devastated to learn that Joey Chestnut has chosen to represent a rival brand that sells plant-based hot dogs rather than competing in the 2024 Nathan's Famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest." MLE and Nathan's went to great lengths in recent months to accommodate Joey and his management team, agreeing to the appearance fee and allowing Joey to compete in a rival unbranded hot dog eating contest on Labor Day. For nearly 2 decades, we have worked under the same basic hot dog exclusivity provisions. However, it seems that Joey and his managers have prioritized a new partnership with a different hot dog brand over our long-term relationship. Chestnut has disputed the claims and said that while he was gutted, geez, to miss out, he was not responsible for skipping this year's event. I do not have a contract with MLE or Nathan's, and they are looking to change the rules from past years as it relates to other partners I can work with, he said on social media. MLE's event organizer, George Shea, said the dispute came down to exclusivity and explained it would be like Michael Jordan saying to Nike, "I'm going to represent Adidas too." Impossible Foods said it supports Chestnut in any contest he chooses, adding that meat eaters should have to be exclusive to just one wiener. Just well played. And New York Mayor Eric Adams waded in to tell MLE to stop being such weenies on social media, calling for them to allow Chestnut to take part in the contest on 4th of July. Oh my God. Okay. That's the truth of it. A lot of these people that have world records and they win these competitions, they're all they're all tiny people. I think one of the record holders is a woman from, it's either China or Japan or Taiwan, somewhere in that region. She's half the size of this guy from Nathan. This guy Jaws Chestnut. She's half his size, and she's packing it down even harder. So, you know, as you do. Okay. Thank you for that trip down memory lane, everyone. Let's get back to the weird news with a follow-up of sorts to the guy that discovered the lost Clara Bow film. How about this? $3.99 thrift store find turns out to be a 2,000-year-old Mayan vase. Hey, how about that?
No? Oh.
Oh, thought it was. Oh, here we go.
Guardian down.
There you go. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, a vase purchased for $3.99 at a Maryland thrift store turned out to be a nearly 2,000-year-old Mayan artifact. No-brainer. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anna Lee Dozer of Washington said she was shopping at a 2A thrift store in Clinton when her attention was grabbed by an unusual vase. And there it is. There's the unusual vase. It looked oldish. I thought maybe 20, 30 years old and some kind of tourist reproduction thing. So I brought it home. Dozier said she was visiting Mexico on a work trip earlier when she noticed some items on display at the Museum of Anthropology bore a startling resemblance to the vase she purchased for $3.99. She spoke with a museum official who recommended she contact the Mexican embassy when she returned home. Dozier shared photos and the dimensions of the vase with the embassy, and the item was identified as a Mayan artifact dating from AD 200 to 800. Dozier and her family returned the vase to the Mexican ambassador, Esteban Moctezuma Barragan, in a ceremony held at the Cultural Institute of Mexico. I am thrilled to have played a part in its repatriation story. That's definitely a $5 word there. I would like it to go back to its rightful place and to where it belongs, she said. But I also want it out of my home because I have 3 little boys and I've been petrified. Well, it's gone now, but I was petrified that after 2,000 years, I would be the one to wreck it. Oh, bless this lady. Bless this lady. Officials said the vase will eventually have a new home at a Mexican museum. Another thrift store vase case purchased for $3.99 from a Goodwill store in Virginia was auctioned last year for over $107,000 when it was found to be designed by Carlos Scarpa for famed Italian company Benini in 1942. Well, that's cool. That's cool. That's a great story. That's a great story right there. Not necessarily weird, but fun. But now we get to the weird, everybody. Now we get to the weird. Gleaming monolith pops up in Nevada desert, the latest in a series of quickly vanishing structures. Well, okay. Well, okay. Again, yes, it did happen before. Las Vegas, strange monolith looks like it could have come from another world. Jutting out of the rocks in a remote mountain range near Las Vegas, the glimmering rectangle's prism reflective surface imitates the vast desert landscape surrounding the mountain peak where it had been erected. But where did this object come from? And is it still there? That's a mystery. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, not the FBI, not NASA, but U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, said it was trying to solve after learning about it Monday through a social media post. Las Vegas police said on the social platform X, but as we know it, Twitter, that members of its search and rescue unit found the otherworldly object over the weekend near Gaz Peak, part of the vast Desert National Wildlife Refuge, where bighorn sheep and desert tortoises can be found roaming at 6,937 feet or 2,114 meters. It is among the highest peaks of Las Vegas. We see a lot of weird things when people go hiking, like not being prepared for the weather, not bringing enough water. The police department wrote, but check this out. Yeah, so there it is. There it is. Random monolith. So, I did a little digging, everybody. I did a little digging, and I came across when this has happened before. I actually found a clip. I found a clip of when this happened once before. So I thought I'd share this with everybody here. And this story's got legs. So let's take a look at the clip from when this last happened. Again, this is totally legit. Totally legit news clip. Completely legit. Remember, you can say you saw it here. You saw it here first on the Grim Gazette. Legit reactions to the first time this monolith had shown up. First time. You know what's amazing about this, though? I mean, obviously these are actors, right? But this is a 55-year-old movie. And the effects of these apes, the makeup on these apes, pretty freaking good. Now, granted, this is also around the time they were doing the Planet of the Apes film. So, actually, Planet of the Apes came out before or after this. I can't remember. But pretty freaking good prosthetics. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually overdue. I haven't watched this movie in a long time. There you go. There you go, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. Legit look at the monolith. Okay. Oh my God. Sometimes I amuse myself. Okay. Now this last story is not necessarily a weird story, but damn it, it made my heart full. So here you go, everybody. Daniel Radcliffe wins first Tony for Merrily We Roll Along. Quote, one of the best experiences of my life. And I'll explain why. I am sharing this as part of the weird news segment on the Grim Gazette in just a second. You're a Tony winner, Daniel Radcliffe. The actor took home the Tony Award for Best Performance by an Actor in a Featured Role in a Musical for Merrily We Roll Along. Radcliffe portrays lyricist and playwright Charlie Kringus in the revival of a Stephen Sondheim and George Furth's 1981 musical. The original production only lasted 12 days before shutting down. I'm just going to talk fast and try not to cry, Radcliffe began his acceptance speech. This has been one of the best experiences of my life. It's been unbelievable. It is an honor to be on stage with you all every single night, he added of his co-stars Jonathan Groff as in King of England from Hamilton and the FBI agent, lead FBI agent in Mindhunter. So his co-stars Jonathan Groff and Lindsay Mendez and the entire cast of the musical. He then took a moment to thank his parents who were in the audience. Happy Father's Day, Dad, he said towards the end of his speech. Thank you for playing Sondheim in the car and just loving me. In his speech, the actor also thanked the Broadway League of American Theater Wing, which present the Tonys, director Maria Friedman, Sondheim and Firth for writing the original musical, everyone at the Hudson Theater who made the show come to life, his agent, dresser, and singing teacher, among others. Since ending his decade-long run as Harry Potter, Radcliffe had found a new kind of success, having received his first Emmy nom in 2023 for his portrayal of Weird Al Yankovic in Weird, the Al Yankovic Story, and now his first Tony win. It's amazing, the actor said backstage after his win. When I finished Potter, I had no idea what my career was going to be. I'd already started doing some stage stuff, but I didn't know what the future held at all. So to have the last year of playing Weird Al and also doing Merrily We Roll Along, I do think there was some playing one character for a long time builds up in you a desire to do as many things as you possibly can. So yeah, I'm doing that right now. Radcliffe was up against Back to the Future, the musical, Roger Bart, The Outsiders, Joshua Boone, and Sky Lakota Lynch, Hell's Kitchen, Brandon Victor Dixon, and Cabaret at the Kit Club's Stephen Skybell. Merrily We Roll Along marked the actor's fifth Broadway production and his first Tony nod. Merrily also took home Best Revival of a Musical, Best Lead Actor in a Musical for Jonathan Groff, and Best Orchestrations for Jonathan Tunick. The Lost City star made his Broadway debut in 2008 with Equus. I didn't know how the world was going to see me after those films were done, he told The Hollywood Reporter during the 2024 Tony Nominees Roundtable. Between Equus and How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, his second Broadway show, this place was giving me a chance to be something else and to find out who I was as an actor. Merrily Roll Along tells the story of three lifelong friends, played by Radcliffe, Groff, and Mendez. The musical begins in present day when the three friends have grown apart and works its way backwards until the beginning of their friendship nearly 2 decades earlier, and navigates success, show business, and unbreakable bonds. Tony Awards 2024, taking place at the David A. Koch Theater at Lincoln Center, New York, are airing 2 parts Sunday night. Act 1, a.k.a. the pre-show, is hosted by Julianne Howe and Utkarsh Ambudkar. And featured presentation of the first round of awards, main ceremony hosted by Ariana DuBois, aired immediately on after CBS and Paramount. Okay. So here's why I'm covering this. First off, I got mad love and mad respect for Daniel Radcliffe. I honestly do. I think what I dig the most about Radcliffe was I saw an interview that he was in, and it was shortly after he had wrapped up Harry Potter. And he said, when we wrapped the 6th film, I thought to myself, holy cow, what can I do to top this? And then he sat back and realized, I can't top this. So this means I can do whatever I want and not worry about hitting the big time because I've already done that. I can now do whatever I want. So then he started doing, there was a movie he did called Horns. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I highly recommend it. It is awesome. I also have mad respect for Daniel Radcliffe because the one degree between me and Radcliffe is we both played the same role in Equus. We both played Alan Strang. I got, like I said, mad respect for Radcliffe. Mad respect. And the fact that he's got now an Emmy and a Tony, all he needs now is an Oscar, and he becomes the triple. And if anybody's going to pull it off, it's going to be Daniel Radcliffe. I just, mad respect, bro. Mad respect. All right. That wraps up the weird news portion of tonight. We are now getting into clips. Now, some of these clips I can do full screen. Some of these clips I cannot. When they are YouTube, apparently I cannot do full screen. It'd be great if I could do full screen, but I cannot. But let's take a look. And usually when I do these clips, I've got to do it this way. I've got to do it this way. It's the best I can do. I'm sorry, everybody, but one day they will come up with full screen for this. Let's see if I can just cheat it just a little bit more. All right, that's as good as it's gonna get. All right, let's see what this clip has in store for us.
Watch this.
For a minute, I thought it was like a dog or something, but
Watch this.
but it's apparently a stuffed animal. So what it looks like is some kind of stuffed animal, some kind of it's on a stand, it looks like, too. So the neck goes all the way up and then drops. And I mean, I can't even tell what it is. But here's where you have to start asking questions. I mean, out of context, is it creepy? Yes, it's very creepy. It's very spooky. It's very spooky animal. But is that paranormal? I don't know. Quite honestly, the fact that it's in this little stand, you don't know what's inside this thing. There could be some type of pneumatic system. It could simply just be some sort of pneumatic system where remotely they trigger it to fill this cavity with air so that when he comes up to it and kicks it, it's limp. I mean, yeah, it's creepy. Is it paranormal? I don't think so. I really don't think so. just from the way it raises its head and then just goes completely limp, that just kind of screams. That just kind of screams that there's some fakery going on, some behind the scenes special effects magic, if you will, some DIY at home kind of thing, right? So neat, but not necessarily paranormal. All right, now this is a short from someone that we have talked about, and I thought I recognized the voice, and yes, it is. This is from D's Dark Adventures. Now, before anybody says D's what? D's nuts, I beat you to the joke. So there you go. But I wanted to take a look at this. She's obviously doing a little bit of paranormal investigation, cryptid hunting going on at what looks like some abandoned road or abandoned bridge of some description.
Please.
Come.
What the fuck? There's somebody fucking screaming hell for. There's no fucking way. There's no way. Guys, I gotta go. I gotta cut it short.
Whack.
Dude, I don't know what to do.
Okay. Now, we have done stuff. We have looked at some of D's clips. Damn it, internet! I just all I can think is D's nuts. That's all I can think of when I say it. We have covered some of D's Dark Adventures in the past, and I desperately want to believe that this is interesting. That this is something going on here. The shadow figure. I mean, let me see if we can catch the shadow figure in a bit. All right, so she says to look back here. So she captures what looks like to be something, a solid mass crossing in this clearing. That's pretty impressive. That I gotta say, that is pretty impressive. I don't think there's any fakery there. That's pretty impressive. Now, here's where I'm saying, okay, now I get where she's coming from. It's pretty, one, she is out there by herself. That is ballsy. I don't think it's necessarily smart, but it's ballsy. So good on you. But having been on a few paranormal investigations outdoors, this is one of the things that you take risk with, is that there are going to be some people that are going to, that they can, first off, one, they probably know that people come out there and do this sort of thing. So they're going to have a good laugh. And they're going to start doing stuff like this.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
There's somebody fucking screaming hell for. There's no fucking way. There's no way. Guys, I gotta go. I gotta cut it short.
Now, when she does that, this caption, people get dumped here all the time. That right there, I get a little, I'm a little sus of. And that's where I desperately want to believe that this shadow person, the shadow figure that she caught is legit and it's genuine. But then she drops in the caption, people get dumped here all the time. then I'm going to ask a very simple question. Why are you there by yourself at night?
It's a trap.
I really think if you know that people are dumped out there all the time, the last thing you want to do is go out there by yourself. I wouldn't do it. I would not go out there by myself. I would have a friend or several with me just to make sure that nothing was hinky, that I was protected, and I'm completely and fully capable of protecting myself. Yes, I'm the first one to say it. But she's also got gear. And throwing in the caption, people get dumped out here all the time. I'm like, all right. At that point, I'm like, okay, all right. You're kind of, you know, adding in that sense of danger when you really don't have to. So that right there, you know, puts me at about DEFCON 2, if you will. DEFCON 2.
Whack.
That's my truck keys in my pocket at the lock. It's fine. Great.
I love you.
And you see, that's my thing. These could just be people having a laugh. These could just be people pranking a place they know that people come here because they're told it's haunted, you know? Whenever you do outdoor investigations, and I'm the first one to say it, I know Phil loves his outdoor his outdoor investigations. I am not one for them. I prefer being indoors. And even then, if you're indoors, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be safe. There was a Project Fear where they were working through the tunnels of, I think it was the Indiana State Home, or it was a geriatric facility and an insane asylum somewhere in the Midwest. And they were going through the underground tunnels, and they came across what looked like signs of life, that somebody was basically living there. So, you know, even places that have security cameras, people can get by those. But this is apparently some kind of public park or some type of public access place. So yeah, throwing in the caption, bodies get dumped here all the time. I'm like, come on, don't throw that in there for kicks and giggles. Really don't. I personally have a tough time with that. Okay. So now we have this. Let's take a look at this.
In this CCTV recording, you can see that someone has spread flour everywhere, almost as if a child were responsible. But how could a child spread it in such a way? Sounds of something falling are audible. Can you hear them too? Listen carefully. Who is walking away, leaving footprints in the flour yet casting no shadow? It's a terrifying scene. If there had been a human present, fear would likely have prevented them from recording it. In this CCTV recording, you can see that someone has spread flour everywhere, almost as if a child were responsible.
I mean, there was a story of the lady living in an area of a store for like 50. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're absolutely right there, secondhand. There's a possibility that people can live in abandoned buildings and not be seen, not be caught, you know, completely under the radar. It's possible. It's just that particular. Just jumping back to this clip for just a moment. And then, man's life was taken, or a skinwalker tried to lure. You know, if you know you're going somewhere dangerous, don't go by yourself. That is just reckless. It's reckless. There's nothing brave. You don't have to prove anything in paranormal investigation. If anything, and that's why we say, take care, stay safe. Safety is paramount. You want to make sure that you are covered, and that if something does go wrong, you've got someone that can pull you out if you need to. Now, as far as this video, though, again, it feels a little loaded when he goes, listen carefully. And then you're I mean, I don't have to listen carefully. I can listen casually and pick up those noises. As far as the footprints.
But how could a child spread it in such a way? Sounds of something falling are...
I don't get that. How could a child spread it in such a way? Well, if there's enough flour, if you have kids, trust me, they'll get stuff in places you can't figure out how they got that in there. So yeah, that's kind of a given.
Audible. Can you hear them too? Listen carefully. Who is walking away, leaving footprints in the flour, yet casting no shadow? It's a...
So here's some other things, though. My cat could do that. Yes, very true. Something else too about these ghost footprints. Yeah, it could, the way that the footprints appear,
casting no shadow.
Unfortunately, because this is YouTube, I cannot slow it down.
Who is walking away, leaving footprints in the flour, yet casting no shadow?
Yeah, you could easily, you could easily drop those in. That's not a hard special effect to replicate. And it's the way that they're going in. Yeah. It looks like it's a transition wipe. So, and yeah, I have thoughts.
Listen carefully.
I don't think this is supernatural. I don't think this is paranormal.
Who is walking away, leaving footprints in the flour, yet casting no shadow?
It looks like a transition wipe. It looks like a transition wipe.
It's a terrifying scene. Who is walking away, leaving footprints in the flour, yet casting no shadow? It's a terrifying...
In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think because it is. I would have to download this video and then play it back at slower speeds. But at first glance, it looks like a transition wipe. It's just a simple transition wipe, and and if you film a static scene like this for a prolonged period of time, and then just drop in, just walk through the flour, and then cut yourself walking through the flour, and then do a transition wipe. Congratulations, you've just created ghost footprints. So I'm not leaning towards anything weird. This is clever but weird. Okay. Clever but not weird. Now we get to this one. And I believe this might have been submitted by secondhand. I believe this was submitted by secondhand. If it wasn't, it was submitted by my wife. Here we go.
Spirits, if you don't like this toy, can you please knock it over? Oh my God, what just happened? The spirits listened. That is awesome.
Let's watch that one more time.
Spirits, if you don't like
this is from TikTok
toy,
right here.
Can you please knock it over? Oh my God, what just happened? The spirits listened. That is awesome.
Seems legit. Seems legit, everybody. Just like this one. Here's another good one. If ghosts aren't real.
If ghosts aren't real, explain this. If ghosts aren't real, explain this.
Now, this one I did send, and I'm just going to come out and say it. That's a legit ghost. That is a legit ghost right there. You're seeing it. You're seeing it first time here, everybody. Legit ghost.
Figured it.
Okay. I love that. Haven't had a cat or doggo haven't had a cat or doggo ghost in some time. So yeah, worth it. All right, now this I found interesting. This I found very interesting. So let's take a look at this. Now, if you can't read, what's here, I'll go ahead and read it out. My fiance and I are house hunting. I bought my SB7 spirit box, which we do have. We have one of those here. I brought my SB7 spirit box to the showing of this farmhouse built in 1917 to see if it was haunted. I couldn't believe what I captured. So let's take a look. Excuse me. Now we are going to watch this a second.
Sound like it just hit the basement.
I'm just come out and say it's a beautiful house too. It's really nice.
It's like it said, don't go down.
So we're going to watch that again. And one of the things I noticed about it straight off the bat, one of the things I noticed is that this was part of a playlist. Apparently now on TikTok you can do playlists. And there's an option, at least when you're looking at the TikTok app, where you can say, go to the next part. So I think that's pretty clever that they're still sticking with that classic minute or so, hook you in, and then they go into the next part. So we're going to look at all three parts. I actually pulled up this page, and the page is In the Presence of Others. And here's house hunting with my SB7. So let's take a... so that was part one. Can I ask an off-topic question? Go right ahead. Depending on what it is, media, I will answer it to the best of my abilities. But go on ahead and ask away, and then I'll take a look at the. We're gonna take a look at this while I wait for the delay to catch up, and you can ask your question. Now that actually is pretty damn good. That's a pretty clear basement. It's not super clear, but I can see where he says basement.
Sound like it just hit the basement.
Those are pretty good hits. Those are pretty decent hits. And I'm impressed. That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good.
It's like it said don't.
Now the leave, that's a bit of a stretch, but I'll allow it. You know what I mean? I'll track with it. I'll track with it.
Go down.
Now, I'm going to real quick point out something here. Just this alone, just this exposed wires alone, that is going to kick off some EMF. That's going to kick off some serious EMF. Now, if they're just using a spirit box, shouldn't be an issue. But I don't know what the other two parts hold, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at those. Okay. So again, this is part 2. My fiance are house hunting. Someone brought their SB7 spirit box to the showing of the farmhouse, and they've been led down to the basement, and that's why you have that sound. Thank you. Thank you, secondhand. All right, here we go. So, what you missed. Here we go. So this is part 1. Basement.
Who told me don't go down here?
Now we'll say what I heard, and this is the tricky part about working with a spirit box. It's not until you review it that you can really listen to what it said. I thought I heard, go get him. That's what I heard. Go get him in that moment. Obviously, he went back, reviewed it, and then he slowed it down. All right, Chris, you have a good night. Thanks for popping in. He slowed it down, and it said, go get out.
Thank you for letting me look at. Letting me look at.
Now, the soon forget, that feels very random. That feels very random. So let's see what happens in part 3. Let's see what happens here. And they're using all the best spooky music. They're using that, and then of course this piano. We got a lot of use out of that piano. We're getting a lot of use out of that piano on Old Spirits. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is part 3. This is before the previous 2 videos. The spirits say they want me to go down here too. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Are there any spirits that are here with me?
Sorry, I'm getting chills. And we got 15 more seconds to go. This is the longest minute ever, everybody.
Are there any spirits that would like me to come up into the attic?
It's a beautiful house. It's a beautiful house. Apparently, these people did not put an offer on the house because the repair costs were too much. That's a shame because they could have easily, if they wanted to promote this as a haunted bed and breakfast, they would have made bank. So let's watch that one more time. Again, this was offered up by my wife, and this is actually pretty good. This is pretty good.
Are there any spirits that are here with me?
Also, this is a big place with a lot of rooms. I'm really impressed with this place. Whew. Those wood floors are awesome. Oh, his name is Tim. And these are supposed to be the steps up to the attic. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's back that up. The high Tim feels like a bit of a stretch. I would have liked it if he had slowed that down. But okay.
Are there any spirits that would like me to come up into the attic?
So yeah, so that is an example of doing like a drive-by investigation with an SB7 spirit box. But here's the thing: there are a lot of people that do not buy into spirit boxes, or what is also known as intertransdimensional communication, or ITC devices. And for me, yeah, a spirit box is really cool. An SD session is very cool, especially when you see it. When you see it happening with groups like Amy's Crypt again and Paranormal Quest and others. However, I think it adds a little more credence if you are using it with other devices in the moment. For example, if you've got a spirit box going, you should also have a REM pod going. Along with the spirit box and REM pod, it wouldn't hurt to have another ITC device going, like say Ghost Tube or an Ovulus, just to see if any of the stuff that is coming in, if there's a connection. A perfect example was the image that I sent out with our social channels tonight. There was this one particular moment in the investigation of the Octagon Mansion at 585 where in a 7-second span, we had one device go off that said it's like an obvious device. It's called Paratech, and it randomly generated the sentence, "I can't do this anymore." So it registered that. I was automatic writing. It's also called spirit writing, but it's basically I'm listening to static, and I've got a blindfold on, and I'm just writing down whatever comes to mind. And I wrote down at random the word "done." So I wrote "done." Paratech says at random, "I can't do this anymore." And then we picked up an EVP that said yes. That's all within 7 seconds. And that is a definition of paranormal. It is something that defies normal situations or circumstances, if you will. I'm not saying you have to believe it. I am not even trying to force you into believing what I've experienced. But when you capture that kind of stuff, when you capture those moments, it's really hard to just say, well, that was coincidence. And this type of approach to paranormal investigation, nothing wrong with it. But you do not necessarily want to investigate with just one device. You want to be able to mix it up, and you want to be and you want to try to hopefully find some sort of connection between what your devices are picking up and what you as an individual are perceiving as well. And I like to think that at OSI we do that, and we do that well. Now, on that note, I'm going to go on ahead and wrap up part 1 of the Grim Gazette because I need hydration. So during this break, please get yourself some hydration, especially with the way the heat has been. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you're hydrated, okay? If you're feeling hungry, have a snack. Please, just go ahead and take care of yourselves. Get a stretch in. Go on ahead and roll them shoulders out because, I don't know about you, but I've been sitting in this chair for just over 2 hours. I desperately need to take a break. And I also need to get the cat his meds. Yeah, I haven't given you your meds today, have I? I need to give him his meds, and I also need to give him some pumpkin because he's a good boy and he needs those extra calories. Okay, everybody, I will be right back. So take care of yourselves on this break, and when we get back, it'll be time for the deep dive. See you in a bit.